like I am a god. Everybody says, who does he think he is? I just told you who I thought I was, a god. I just told you. That's who I think I am.
In the world of music, there are stars, and then there are storms. Some artists shine bright, some fade fast, but only a few reshape the world around them, bending culture, fashion, and even politics to their will. Kanye West was one of them. A visionary, a disruptor, a genius, or so the world thought. From the moment he stepped into the spotlight, Kanye was never just a rapper. He was a force, a man who could change the sound of hip-hop with a single beat and bring the fashion world to its knees with a single shoe. But genius has a price. And for Kanye, that price was steep. Because somewhere along the way, the world's golden child became its greatest villain. The same fans who once celebrated his brilliance now question his sanity. The same media that once crowned him a genius now paints him as a danger. This is the story of Kanye West. The story of how a college dropout became a cultural villain. Chicago, Illinois, the South Side, a city defined by jazz, soul, and struggle. It was here, on June 8, 1977, that Kanye Omari West was born. His childhood was unusual compared to many future rappers. He wasn't raised in gangs or trapped in the streets. His father, Ray West, was a photojournalist and activist. His mother, Dr. Donda West, was a professor of English at Chicago State University. This balance of intellect and artistry shaped the young Kanye differently. He saw life not only as a fight to survive, but as a canvas to create. By the time most kids were worrying about playground fights, Kanye was already writing poems, sketching ideas, and experimenting with sound. At just 13, he recorded his first rap song in a basement studio. But where many kids dream small, Kanye dreamed big. He believed in himself, obsessively, and that belief would carry him further than anyone expected. As a teenager, he fell in love with production. He studied beats, chopped up samples, and idolized legends like J Dilla and RZA. He wasn't just trying to make songs, he wanted to redefine sound. By the late 90s, Kanye started producing for local Chicago artists. His style was unique. Soul samples, sped up and pitched high, laid over hard drums. It was a sound that felt nostalgic and futuristic at the same time. And it caught the attention of Rockefeller Records. At first, Kanye was just the kid behind the boards, producing hits for Jay-Z's The Blueprint in 2001. Songs like Izzo, HOVA, announced Kanye's genius to the industry, but nobody believed he could rap at the same level. To them, he was just a beat maker. But Kanye refused to stay in the background. He wasn't born to be silent. He was born to speak, to dominate, to lead. Then, in 2002, fate struck. A near-fatal car accident left his jaw shattered. Wired shut, he recorded Through the Wire, rapping with his teeth clenched, his voice muffled by metal. What was meant to end his career instead ignited it. The song became a statement. Kanye West was unstoppable. In 2004, the College Dropout arrived. It wasn't just an album. It was a manifesto. In a world of gangsta rap and material flexing, Kanye rapped about insecurity, faith, consumerism, and chasing dreams. Songs like Jesus Walks and All Falls Down hit harder than bullets, not because they were violent, but because they were honest. Kanye was no longer just a producer. He was a star, a rebel, a visionary. The rise had begun. With the College Dropout, Kanye didn't just break into the industry. He shattered the mold. Critics praised him. Fans embraced him. Awards piled up. But Kanye wasn't satisfied. He never was. In 2005, he followed up with Late Registration. Rich, layered, and cinematic, the album expanded his vision. Orchestras, lush arrangements, and socially charged lyrics proved he wasn't a one-album wonder. Tracks like Gold Digger took over the charts, cementing Kanye as a household name. Then came Graduation in 2007, an album that didn't just compete with hip-hop, it competed with pop, rock, and every global genre at once. When Kanye outsold 50 Cent in their famous sales battle, it wasn't just a victory for him. It was the moment hip-hop itself shifted. Kanye had dragged the genre into the mainstream spotlight, permanently. But success came with tragedy. In November 2007, Kanye's mother, Donda West, passed away due to surgical complications. She was more than just his mother. She was his anchor, his biggest supporter, the one person who grounded him. Her loss devastated him. And yet, even through pain, Kanye created. In 2008, he dropped 808s and Heartbreak. At first, fans didn't understand it. Auto-tune heavy, emotional, stripped down, it was the opposite of what people expected. But time proved it was prophetic. Without 808s, there would be no Drake, no The Weeknd, no Post Malone. Kanye was, once again, ahead of the curve. Then came My Beautiful, Dark, Twisted Fantasy in 2010. A masterpiece. A chaotic, grand, and unapologetically bold album that critics still call one of the greatest of all time. It was the sound of a man both broken and invincible, consumed by ego but fueled by brilliance. By the 2010s, Kanye wasn't just a musician. He was a cultural architect. His Yeezy brand revolutionized fashion. His sneakers became global status symbols. He blurred the line between hip-hop and haute couture, forcing the fashion elite to acknowledge him. Every move he made dominated headlines. Every album, from Yeezus to The Life of Pablo, pushed boundaries. Kanye wasn't following trends. He was inventing them. But with greatness comes shadows. The bigger he became, the harder it was to control his voice. And soon, the cracks in his empire began to show. It's often said that fame doesn't change people, it exposes them. For Kanye, that exposure was brutal. The first major crack came in 2009, live on the MTV Video Music Awards stage. Taylor Swift, a young country pop star, had just won Best Female Video. But before she could finish her speech, Kanye stormed the stage, snatched the microphone, and declared, "Yo, Taylor, I'm really happy for you. I'm gonna let you finish. But Beyoncé had one of the best videos of all time." The moment Kanye West made that statement, everyone was surprised, and everything changed. The crowd paused. The next thing, the crowd booed. The cameras froze. In that single moment, Kanye wasn't the genius anymore. He was the villain. What should have been a small incident snowballed into a defining narrative. From then on, every move Kanye made was amplified, dissected, and weaponized against him. And Kanye didn't make things easier for himself. His outspoken nature, once admired as honesty, became infamous for chaos. He interrupted award shows. He feuded with celebrities. He lashed out at the media. In 2016, during a concert in Sacramento, he ranted against Jay-Z, Beyoncé, and even politicians before abruptly ending the show. Days later, he was hospitalized for exhaustion and mental health concerns. The world started to question not just his genius, but his stability. Then came politics. In 2018, Kanye made headlines when he publicly expressed support for Donald Trump, even wearing the iconic red "Make America Great Again" hat. For fans who saw Kanye as a voice of rebellion and truth, this was betrayal. For others, it was confirmation that he had lost his way. The breaking point? His controversial comments about slavery being a choice. The backlash was immediate, intense, and unforgiving. Critics branded him reckless, dangerous, and out of touch. But Kanye thrived on chaos. Every scandal only pushed him further into the spotlight. Every controversy kept his name alive. Yet behind the scenes, his personal life was unraveling. His marriage to Kim Kardashian, once seen as a modern royal union of music and reality TV, was reaching its breaking point. The media circus around their relationship would soon become another weapon in his villain narrative. For years, Kanye and Kim Kardashian were the ultimate celebrity power couple. Their marriage in 2014 was a global spectacle, a union of music and reality television royalty. Together, they built an empire of influence, wealth, and status. To the world, they were untouchable. But behind the cameras, the cracks were growing deeper. Kanye's erratic public behavior, his Twitter storms, his political endorsements, his unpredictable rants, put constant strain on their relationship. Kim, the queen of controlled media, struggled to contain the chaos. Kanye, who thrived in chaos, refused to be contained. By 2021, it was over. Kim filed for divorce after nearly 7 years of marriage. The separation wasn't quiet. It was a full-blown spectacle. Court battles, custody disputes, and endless tabloid headlines turned their breakup into a public war. For Kanye, the divorce was more than personal heartbreak. It was humiliation. Watching the mother of his children move on so publicly cut deep. When Kim began dating comedian Pete Davidson, Kanye's emotions spilled into the public eye. He posted threats, insults, and desperate pleas online, his heartbreak becoming entertainment for millions. The world didn't see a grieving man. It saw a villain unraveling. Yet, even in the ashes of that divorce, Kanye reinvented himself. In early 2023, he shocked the world by secretly marrying Bianca Censori, an Australian architect working at Yeezy. Their union, sudden and mysterious, was met with fascination and confusion. Who was she? Why now? What did this mean for Kanye's fractured empire? Bianca became both muse and lightning rod. Her bold, often revealing fashion choices, crafted under Kanye's influence, sparked controversy everywhere they went. Paparazzi chased them across Europe, headlines debated their marriage, and once again, Kanye remained at the center of cultural conversation. But the love story did little to soften his public image. To fans and critics alike, Kanye's new marriage felt less like redemption and more like another chapter in his descent into infamy. The divorce with Kim and the whirlwind marriage to Bianca didn't just redefine Kanye's personal life. They reshaped his public legacy. He was no longer just an artist. No longer just a genius. He was a spectacle, a man the world couldn't look away from, even as it judged him more harshly than ever. But perhaps the most symbolic turning point of all came in 2021. In October of that year, Kanye West officially filed to change his name. Not to another flashy moniker, not to a stage alias, just 2 letters, Ye. It wasn't random. For years, Kanye had called himself Ye, even titling his 2018 album with the name. He explained that Ye was the most common word in the Bible, meaning you. To him, the name represented oneness, humanity, and a connection to God. But legally shedding Kanye West wasn't just a branding move. It was a declaration, a rebirth, a rejection of his past identity. The producer, the superstar, the husband, and an embrace of something bigger, stranger, and more confrontational. As he saw himself not just as an artist, but as a prophet, a vessel, a man above the system, no longer bound by the expectations that came with the name Kanye West. To some, it was a brilliant act of reinvention. To others, it was evidence of ego gone unchecked. But either way, it marked a clear point of no return. He wasn't just changing his name. He was changing the narrative, casting off Kanye West, the beloved innovator, and embracing Ye, the misunderstood villain. From that moment on, every headline, every controversy, every rant carried the name Ye. The man and the myth had become inseparable. By the 2020s, Ye was no longer just an artist. He had become a lightning rod. Every word, every move, every headline, amplified and dissected across the globe. The world began to see him less as a creative genius and more as a cultural villain. His social media rants grew darker, his interviews more controversial. He attacked corporations, celebrities, journalists, anyone who crossed him. But it wasn't just the outbursts, it was the ideology behind them. He began making statements that went beyond eccentric and into dangerous territory. His remarks on history, religion, and politics sparked outrage across industries. Once celebrated as a fearless truth-teller, he was now condemned as reckless, even harmful. Brands that once begged for his influence cut ties. Fashion houses severed partnerships. Billion-dollar deals dissolved overnight. The Yeezy empire, once a symbol of his genius, nearly collapsed in the span of weeks. And yet, even as the world turned on him, Ye didn't retreat. If anything, he leaned further into the role of villain. He embraced being misunderstood. He framed himself as a prophet cast out by society. But behind the drama, one question lingered. Was this self-destruction or strategy? Because despite being canceled, Ye's name never left the headlines. His music still drew millions of streams. His fashion still influenced the culture. Even as the world claimed to reject him, it couldn't stop watching. Ye had become both untouchable and inescapable, hated and admired in equal measure. If you're still with us in this story, make sure you hit that subscribe button and ring the notification bell. More deep dives into the biggest names in music and culture are on the way. And trust me, you won't want to miss them. Back to the story. The villain era wasn't just about Ye's downfall. It was about the contradictions he carried. The same man who gave the world Jesus walks now battled with public faith. The same man who redefined hip-hop was now accused of destroying his own legacy. For every fan who abandoned him, another doubled down in loyalty. For every critic who called him dangerous, others called him a martyr of free speech. And that's what makes Ye's villain era so unique. He wasn't destroyed by cancel culture. He thrived in it. He fed off it. He turned infamy into fuel. But in doing so, he cemented his legacy not just as a musical genius, but as one of the most polarizing figures of modern times. Kanye West's story, or rather, Ye's story, is not simple. It's not a straight line of triumph or a clean fall from grace. It is messy, chaotic, brilliant, and tragic all at once. From the College Dropout to My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy, from Yeezy sneakers to stadium-sized album rollouts, Ye shaped culture in ways few artists ever could. He wasn't just part of the conversation, he was the conversation. But somewhere along the way, the genius became the villain. The innovator became the outcast. The same man who once inspired millions became the man millions turn against. Yet maybe that was always Ye's destiny. To be the disruptor, to challenge, provoke, and force the world to confront uncomfortable truths, even if it cost him everything. Because love him or hate him, one thing is undeniable: Ye will never be forgotten. He is both hero and villain, both genius and cautionary tale, both a college dropout and a cultural icon. If you enjoyed this deep dive, make sure to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you don't miss the next story. There's always more to uncover, and we're just getting started. This was the story of Kanye West, from college dropout to cultural villain.
Can I get